Welcome to today's Software AG webcast titled Accelerate Time to Value with Process Mining. Today's program will be jointly presented by Software AG, as well as our partners BPMD, Consulta, and Infosys. Our moderator for today is Ravi Avari, Arist Associate Product Manager at Software AG. As we move through today's program, we invite you to submit any questions you have. The question box is located on the lower left side of the webcast dashboard. Type your question into that box and hit submit when you're ready. On the off chance that we don't have time to get to your question, your submission will be noted, and one of our speakers will be back in touch with you as soon as possible. Here now to begin our program today is Ravi Avari.
Hey, hello everyone. So welcome to the wonderful webinar about accelerating your time with process mining. My name is Ravi Avari, and I am the Associate Product Manager here at Arist in Software AG, and I am responsible for process mining and the process mining accelerators that you will be seeing today. I am joined today with my colleague, Roland van der Root, who will be presenting our purchase-to-pay process, and then we have our most capable partners who have solved some really interesting use cases for you, the BPMD, Consulta, and Infosys. Roland, to you.
All right, thanks, Ravi. So again, my name is Roland van der Ruit. I am part of Software AG's Accelerator team on business transformation, which means our ARIS and Alphabet platforms. I have a particular focus on process mining and task mining, and a little bit of RPA as well. And before that, I also spent quite some time in our consulting division, implementing our products. So I've also bring a little bit of that experience with me. That's me.
Liam?
Excellent. So my name is Liam O'Neill. I'm a director with BPMD. We're a boutique management consultancy, and we specialize in business process management. Through the course of a number of client engagements, we've built a fantastic experience with process mining, both in helping organizations start their process mining journey and then grow that maturity through to a fully deployed and value realizing state. Subi?
Thank you, Liam. Irkan?
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for giving this great opportunity to share what we worked for a while. I'm Erkan Yaprak from Consulta, Turkey. So we are basically a management and technology consulting firm. And being partnered with Software AG for a long time, I mean, maybe more than 10 years. So we are trying to support our value proposition with Software AG's technologies like APM, ARIS process mining. So very excited to be here today. Thanks.
Thank you. Bhavik from Infosys.
Thank you, Ravi. So hi, I'm Bhavik. Today I'm representing Infosys, and we'll be delivering session on discovering recruitment process management using ARIS ecosystem. And thank you for having me. Over to you, Ravi.
Thank you so much. So everybody here, welcome again. So now that you're all here, I already assume that you're familiar with the topic of process mining, and you're all ready to accelerate your time to value with the process mining solutions that we present today. But those who are new to the topic and are new here, let me take a few minutes to introduce you into the topic of process mining and what we are doing in regards to process mining, and how does the solution accelerators that we present today will play a part in the bigger role. To introduce the topic, let me actually start from the very problem that we are addressing with our software offering. So I firmly believe that all the businesses that we are doing are built on trust, but are really burdened with a lot of uncertainty, right from from what comes into the business to what we give to our customers. But to explain this line, let me take the example of a humble bakery that we all can relate to. So the everyday bakery that we all come across in our daily lives at many points has a simple process. Let's take one of the process. So the general process for a bakery would be like this. So they will have a vendor who will supply with all the ingredients and raw materials that they would want, and then they have the baker itself who will cook the fantastic bread, and then they sell it to the customer. So this is a simple business process that we have, but there is a lot of uncertainty around this, right? So once the bakery is in the market for a certain period of time, there comes a point where the bakery has to keep innovating their processes to stay profitable and to stay relevant. Now, once you start tweaking the processes, there is a lot of uncertainty that goes into this. Is the vendor really giving us the quality of raw materials that we have agreed to? Is the baker exactly following the kind of process that we want to, so that the bread always comes out in the perfect shape? Now that we have it, and we offer it to the customer, is the customer liking it? If the customer is liking it, is the customer willing to pay the price that we have quoted? How do we really solve all these problems? This is a kind of situation where we are also in our corporates, when we are also dealing with all of our processes. But the example that I told is a simple straight line process from input to output, but in our corporates with all the matrix hierarchies, international structures, it gets more and more complex. So to solve the problem of uncertainty, what the general bakery owner does in this kind of example is he will go and talk to the vendor about the kind of raw materials being supplied. He will go and talk to the baker himself about the process that he is following, and he will talk to the customers about the satisfaction, likeliness, and all the other things. But can we do this kind of a manual process in our complex corporate structures? I firmly believe it is not possible, and this is not a really scalable approach. And this is where we have process mining to the rescue. So we at Aris are offering our Aris process mining tool, which is an integrated solution to measure all your processes by integrating your data from multiple ERP systems and CRM systems and all the other systems, and to understand what actually is happening in reality, where are the bottlenecks, where can you improve, and where you actually have to take a little action so that you will be able to meet your business goals and improve your operational efficiency. So we are offering Aris in 3 basic variants. So the basic, which is an absolutely free offering, you can check this out by just logging into arisprocessmining.com. And once you're familiar with the topic, we recommend that you buy our advanced offering, where you can actually start exploring a lot of capabilities, and then as you mature into the process of process mining, you upgrade to enterprise so that you can actually leverage the full potential of it. But where does the process mining accelerators really come into the picture? Now that you have understood why do you need process mining, what is process mining standing for, and you kind of buy the software, which is definitely not a few dollar offering, you really wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in setting up your processes or defining your metrics right from the very basic thing, and then looking for the value to the purchase. So what are we doing here is we are solving the most common use cases that all of you have in regards to the kind of processes like purchase to pay, accounts receivable, hiring processes, or even for banks like loan applications, or all the processes that you have. And we are solving the most common cases for you so that you will directly start getting the value of your process mining purchase right from the day you actually integrate the data of your systems. So let me take this moment to welcome you all into Speed, and welcome to saving your efforts and time. Absolutely not to, it's a must mention that is we are also saving a lot of cost for you, because all the process mining accelerators that we are offering from the software AG front are absolutely for free of cost. Today, we have a lot of integration to a lot of ERP systems, CRM systems, and other systems, and we have the processes that we have solved in, just as an example that you can see in the list: purchase to pay, hire to retire, accounts receivable, plant maintenance, and your financial processing like record to report, your everyday processes. That a lot of you will use to make sure that your customers' needs are addressed, like incident resolution over ServiceNow or Freshworks, and make sure that you are actually benefiting out of this purchase right from the day one. So again, thank you so much for joining today. Welcome to Speed, and we are here to save your efforts, time, and cost. We along with our able and most competent partners will today present a few of the use cases that we have solved, and hope this helps you a lot. On to you, Roland, for the purchase to pay process.
Right, thank you, Ravi. And I will start with sharing my screen. Here we go. So yeah, I will tell you a little bit about our accelerator for procure to pay. It's in fact one of our accelerators that we have within the SAP domain. We also, by the way, have accelerators for procure to pay on other systems than SAP. So we also support the procure to pay process on Oracle, or also Microsoft Dynamics, I think, which is delivered by our partner Consulta. But for now, procure to pay on SAP. It is an accelerator that is supported on most versions of SAP, meaning ECC, S/4HANA. You might also have an old R3 system lying around. I'm sure this will also work on that. But yeah, let's have a look at that. And we start here. We're looking at ARIS process mining, and we're looking at the accelerator for procure to pay. And you will notice that it consists out of what we typically call different analysis. So number one, process explorer, number three, process cycle time, etc. Essentially, our accelerators are built up with certain analysis that are very familiar or very part of what you consider traditional process mining, exploring and discovering your procure-to-pay process, finding waste, finding bottlenecks, conformance checking, comparing the procure-to-pay process based on data, what was discovered against your reference procure-to-pay process. Obviously, cycle times. The accelerated pack contains a lot of cycle times as well. But beyond that, we also tackle some of very procurement-specific topics. Are you converting UPRs, your requisitions, to POs? To what degree? How long does it take? Are the approvals followed? Touchless PO, of course, is also a famous metric, a famous viewpoint on assessing your procurement performance. Are you having changes? Are you changing the net price, the delivery dates, the vendor? Topics like that. Out of delivery is another important part of our procure-to-pay accelerated pack, meaning, of course, are you delivering, or is your vendor delivering on time in full? Because obviously that translates into management metrics like safety stock. If you have a high OTIF percentage, then your safety stock can be lower. Although if you have a lot of problems with your delivery performance, then you probably need to maintain a higher safety stock, which of course is a lot of money involved. And finally, a very important topic within procurement is maverick buying. Are you receiving invoices before you even have a PO? Right? So we created some analysis around these specific procurement topics as well. Now, let's just jump in, I think, in one of the more, or at least the essence of process mining, which is process, and have a quick look at what is covered within this procure-to-pay accelerated packet for SAP. Now, this is the most occurring process that we have, at least on the data set that we're currently looking at. And this is very straight visualization on the procure-to-pay process for SAP. It starts with the PO, it goes down to the receipt, the invoice, accounting, and clearing. So this is, I think, pretty much a happy path. Of course, we spend a lot of time and care to make sure that we also cover all of those exceptions that can happen, right? In terms of cancellations, changes, blocks, payment blocks, right? But also the associated releases. And of course, we can quickly visualize that as well within ARIS process mining, and that you can start adding things. You see changes coming up, cancellations, etc. And of course, you can just go into the full spaghetti view. And this, of course, is still a relatively small data set. If you release this on a good chunk of your own data, maybe on a full year, on 2 years, on 3 years, you would even, in my experience at least, see a cloud of potential options, or as we call them, variants. Now, this was very briefly the process, and I hope to have shown you, we show you what happens, we discover what happens, we discover the variants. But like I said, we also have some more analysis that are part of this accelerated pack, including, I think, especially for the ones that are using process mining in combination with others for designing and documenting your processes, is what we call conformance. So really the comparison to what have you designed and captured and documented in others against the reality that was discovered through process mining, right? This comparison, that is very much a key capability within process mining, and there we also provide some analysis around specifically what is your conformance, but also what is your fitness, which is basically a more nuanced picture on your conformance. Whereas conformance basically says yes or no. If you compare your reference process against a set of your discovered cases, discovered processes, the fitness rate gives you a more nuanced picture that a single case can have maybe only one mistake or two mistakes. So it gives you more realistic picture on your compliance. So that's very much part of it, and our Accelerator pack does contain a reference process that we provide. But obviously, I think one of the first things that you might want to do when you implement this Accelerator pack based on your own data is that you would also provide a reference process that is closely to you and the way you are working and how you designed your process. Now, just to jump into one of the more specific analysis, take for example OTIF delivery. And what we've done with all of these specific analysis, we created relevant metrics around that particular topic. So if you look at OTIF delivery in general, then of course you might want to look at in terms of what was in full, what was on time, of course OTIF as well. How much of our cases are even delivered at this moment. What was the delivery time in fact? Obviously, benchmarking plays a big part of that as well. And then of course we use all of the famous attributes that are associated or part of your procurement process, things like the PO organization, the PO group, plans, company codes, etc., materials, obviously, document type, etc., etc. And of course, vendor performance as well. Benchmarking your individual vendors, I think is also there's also a standard analysis that we provide as part of this Accelerator pack. Now, this is true for OTIF, but again, this is also true for things like Maverick buying. We created some standard analysis, sub-metrics, where we focus on specific topics there. Various benchmarks again on how we benchmark this particular topic, in this case Maverick buying. And of course Maverick buying is also something that you would like to see and benchmark across your vendors. Now, I think it's good to mention that besides these standard analysis, these Accelerator packages also contain, and I'm just going to show you this way, a lot of metrics that are not necessarily maybe expressed as a separate analysis, but are clearly part of the Accelerator pack. Just give you a quick view, a lot of ratios, a lot of percentages, things like PO to acknowledgement, PO to cancellation, PO to first goods received, PO to last goods received, etc., etc. We have also provided a lot of flags to highlight certain behavior. Is there partial delivery going on? Are you making use of a source list? So a lot of this content is also part of the Accelerator package. And like I said, also a lot of the the attributes that you expect and want to use for your analysis, like document types, like materials, company codes, contracts, creators, etc., etc., etc. So with this, I hope to have given you a very brief sneak preview on our procure-to-pay Accelerator pack. Again, it's one of many, both on the SAP side, but also the systems that we support, SAP, Dynamics, and Oracle. And with this, I will hand over to the next speaker, and I believe that is BPMD.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Roland. So that was a superb presentation. Thanks for talking through that. Very interesting. So I already introduced myself and briefly introduced BPMD. I shan't spend too long on that. I will hand pretty much straight over to Subial, one of our technical analysts, who will show off one of the accelerators we have built. just to mention, what we're going to look at today is a record to report accelerator. There are also sort of accelerators in our portfolio across the Software AG portfolio as well, that you can explore. We're looking at record to report. There's also accounts receivable. There's an incident to resolution one, and a plethora of other ones. So, Subi, I'm going to hand over pretty much straight to you. As I said, we've already done introductions.
No worries. Thank you, Liam. Share my screen. Good afternoon to all the attendees. Thanks for joining us today in this webinar. My name is Subi, and I'm an analyst at BPMD. I have expertise in process modeling and process mining, particularly within the ARIS environment. This was developed through making this accelerator solution that we'll be demoing today. Our solution basically enables companies of all sizes with transactional data available on SAP to begin their process mining journey, specifically for maybe accounts receivable, and another solution that we've developed is record to report. Accounts receivable might seem like a straightforward process where an invoice is created, sent, and approved. However, just with any other process, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's ripe with opportunities for improvement. Using process mining, you can create visibility of your accounts receivable process, and this provides a foundation for you to drive transformation and deliver operational excellence. This solution is the first step towards that. By transforming raw data extracts from SAP, you'll be able to visualize your process and begin delivering value today. The business questions that we'll look to answer today are, firstly, how is client billing performing? How to improve the invoice creation process? And how is the process behaving in reality? So once the data has been loaded in from SAP, like Roland was mentioning earlier, this is what we call a process explorer. This shows us the typical linear happy pathway for accounts receivable. So if we have a look at this, it's the process begins, invoice is created, we have the issue invoice and create billing document. But like we all know, things are not always straightforward within business. So if we use the sliders here on the right, we can see how the process is actually performing in reality. So based on the sample data that we have, this doesn't look too crazy, but with the real data, it looks like a spaghetti diagram as seen with a lot of arrows going here and there. So what this shows is actually how the process is varying from the linear pathway. So if we have a look at here, this shows us rework. Rework is whereby a process has to be done again due to errors. So currently we have 18,000 cases that have a rework within issue invoice. So interestingly, within the Process Explorer, we have two lenses that we can use. We can either use case frequency or throughput time. Throughput time will allow us to see how the time resource is being expanded by the business. So that same rework that we had earlier is costing the business 1.2 months on average within this particular rework. If we want to look deeper, we can switch to the cycle time tab, and this will allow us to answer our first question of how client billing is performing. So if we have a look at the moment, from create billing doc to receive payments, it's taking 41 days. What we could have done here as well is if a business has a particular threshold of say 30 days, this could be highlighted in red just so it can give quick fire analysis for the high level CEO and CFOs. If we want more granular detail, it's available through the bar graphs that we have. So this can show us average payment time by company or by segment. So if we have a look here, FR01 has an average payment time of 1.51 compared to UCOE01, which has 1.29. And similarly, you can see the average payment time by segment of construction and manufacturing. Another interesting widget that could be used is a timescale widget. So this can allow us to identify peaks and troughs and maybe possibly dig deeper and investigate the root cause issue. If we have a look at the process overview tab, we have the number of invoices by company and by segment. What this allows us to do is if we use the save selections whereby we've filtered attributes, this will dynamically change the widgets. So if I click on client receipts, we can see that this automatically updates, and we can see the highest number of receipts currently being received is by UK01 and construction. So this allows the business to dig deeper and find out where the actual problems and issues lie. So the second business question that we'd be looking at is how to improve the invoice creation. So what we can do for this is go back to one of our save selections, and we can use the on-time payments. So what this will allow the company to do is sort of identify trends and maybe contractual agreements that they might have with particular companies, say, for example, UK01 and construction, and see which of these aspects that they can mimic across their other clients to help improve payment terms and conditions. If we switch back over to the cycle time, this will allow us to see the different times within each step. So create to issue invoice currently takes 11 days, whereas the overall average cycle time is 49 days currently. Customers take about -1 day. So basically clearing of line items is done before the payment is received. And from issue invoice to payment is 42 days. And like we mentioned earlier, we also have a time graph, which allows us to identify trends where we can focus in on peaks or troughs and identify any particular issues within that time period. Then the final question that we'll be looking at is how the process is actually behaving in reality. So what we were looking at earlier using the Process Explorer, if we just have a look at this Show Variant Panel widget over here, what this allows us to see is basically how the process is varying. So currently, this is just showing 65.4% of the cases. So if I drag it down to about the 5 most common, it'll show us how or which specific variations within the process are happening. So we can have a look at invoice created, it goes to issue invoice, then to create billing doc, which goes to clear line items. And then we have a certain type where we skip the issue invoice, and this is costing the business 8.5 hours. Once we've identified these particular issues, we can switch over to the Conformance tab, which gives us quickfire analysis based on the reference model that was updated. So this would change based on the company. So once you have the Accelerator pack, you can adjust your reference model and these statistics will be updated. So within the Analysis tab, we can have more detailed level, for example, invalid start activity, invalid end activity, and unexpected consecutive activities gives us a breakdown of the general issues within our process. And then individual conformance issues such as create billing doc being the end activity, which is a violation. This is found in 72% of the cases, for example. And something that's a bit less common if we scroll down would be clearing of line items, which is definitely not a start activity based on the reference model that we have. And similarly, you can use the browse save selections to adjust the widgets according to the questions that you'd like the solution to answer. Another solution that we have is the record to report. So the record report solution basically answers the business questions of whether there are any bottlenecks in the general ledger management process, how we monitor and enhance general accounting and periodic reporting process, and how the processes are behaving in reality. This is divided into 2 sections. We have the asset and the general ledger. So please do get in touch with us for any more details regarding the R2R solution, accounts receivable, or any other questions that you may have. I'll pass over to Arkan now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the great content. It was very interesting. And today I'd like to talk about a couple of applications we built recently. Let me share my screen. I hope everyone is seeing me and hearing me clearly.
Yes, Arkan, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So just to speak briefly about Consulta. Consulta is a management and consulting firm. We have 4 different branches: Istanbul, Izmir, Adana, and Amsterdam. Basically, we are a management consulting and professional services firm, including tax, corporate finance, cybersecurity, and also research and academy divisions, in addition to the management consulting. Our goal is to create an end-to-end value proposition from analytics to IoT and integration. So process mining is a strategic tool for that, to enrich our capabilities for delivering value to our clients. So we have a couple of applications, pre-built applications, but since the process excellence is an endless journey, I just like to speak briefly about our free applications. One is loan application for a retail bank. We have many banks in our client portfolio operating in this region, EMEA region. So we have a concrete idea of how it's going on in credit management departments of a typical bank, in a retail bank. So it's a very crucial process for a bank. And there are too many, I believe there are too many hidden values in terms of efficiency and fastening the process. So that's why we picked this one. So second one is order to delivery. It's a similar one to the one Roland presented. Actually, it's a part of procure to pay, I think, or vice versa. And the last one is order to cash, running on Oracle EBS. The first two is based on anonymous data collected from different sources, data sources, which can be even Excel. But the third one is running on actually the data extracted directly from Oracle EBS. So loan application, let me start with loan application. We picked typical steps actually and collected all the information we have based on our experience and anonymized those steps to reflect a real life example, to have a real life example actually. The average typical loan application starts with in bank side and receiving the application, customer status check, and goes on with submitting the application in a system, requesting additional information if needed, evaluation of the application by the documents or credibility score, etc., and making the final approval and communicating the final result to the applicant, a potential client. What we're trying to analyze here based on metrics, process cycle time, number of processes by loan amount, by age, by demographics, by channel, a rejection rate of applications by high credible clients. This is the crucial one because there is a potential loss here for the bank. And also the opposite is also valid. Approval rate of applications by high risky applicants. So these are more like business questions. So what I'm trying to, I'm going to try to highlight is to how we can answer by using this application, these questions. So let me jump into the tool side. Again, the same view we have. I mean, it's a process discovery part of the loan application. As you can see, the tool itself discovers the process discovery, and by the colors on each function, we can see the most frequent and also most longer processing activities. For in this example, the longest processing activity out of 5,000 cases, instance cases, application entry, and also evaluation of personal loan details are also the other longest processing activity. So this indicates actually a room for improvement and an opportunity for improvement. So the other one can be is, as Ravi explained and also Roland explained clearly, business processes do not follow the same path every time in real life. So in modeling, business process modeling, we actually model what we think about the process, but in real life, it's something different. So that's why we put here 5,000 cases to show you how the processes are deviating from each other. So when I click on the variant section, I can see here the most common variant, the process flow. So this may not be the happy path, but I can also choose the other ones by clicking the variance bar on the right side. And maybe by checking the variance, I may find the rightest version or the happiest path of the process. So in this example, 89% of the variance is common variance. So let's jump into the other analysis. We can also see alternative ways of loan application. So not in every case we have all the steps. So by clicking each step, we can see their impacts on the on the process KPIs like cycle time. Let's jump into the approval performance. Depending on the data we put into this APM application, we can have such a dimensions like confirmation type, credibility score, the applicant is our client or not, or do they have a deposit account in the bank or not, etc. So every dimension has an impact on the analysis and creates an opportunity for improvement actually. So let's check if being a high credible applicant creates an advantage in terms of waiting time. So when I click on credibility score and high credibility score people, I see I have less on hold applications. So let's go in detail in potential loss analysis. A loss for a typical bank can be described as rejection of high credibility scored applicants, although they are our clients and they have a deposit account, but their applications are rejected. So this is not a good thing for a bank. So in this case, we see 5% of our applicants are rejected. So we have an opportunity, a commercial opportunity, to increase our efficiency of our process by 5%. Let's flip the page and also check the potential risk analysis. Again, a risk can be described as approving and low credible applicant's application, even though he or she is not a client of the bank. So there are also cases for GM approval, approved by the general manager himself or herself, even though the application is not a qualified application. So we have 2% of those kind of applications, another room for improvement. So let's jump back into the number of processes tab. In average, we have almost 2 days process cycle time. And also you can see the distribution of applications out of different dimensions like loan amount, applicant's age, etc. So we can also put here the branch or the channel that the application made by. So most of the applications in this case made by phone, mobile phones. So we see here there is not a significant effect on the channel dimension on the process cycle time. But loan amount has an impact actually. You see there are some changes in the process cycle time. So this is the brief summary about loan application. Now I'd like to jump into another application, the order to delivery in supply chain. So let me quickly pass the common part, which we have almost in all applications, like Process Explorer. And I'd like to talk more about supply chain specific findings. We see the average cycle time in process overview. Average cycle time is more than 3 days. So there's a trend of it. We see when we go on, the cycle time decreases and number of cases also decreases. And let's jump into the on time in full delivery. So in some cases in supply chain, you can make the order, or you can design to order, or you can send the items that you sold from the inventory directly. So the last option is the best one for process frequency and process speed. Let's see if it's a positive impact on the process throughput time, cycle time. if we have the order available, I mean the raw materials or and all the stuff we need for the delivery, if we have it already in our stock, it's a positive impact on average process cycle time. And also we can check the distribution of cases out of customer category, and also we can combine it with case duration. We see here most of the cases and most of the orders are coming from specific customers like customer category 4 and customer category 5. But also we have the longest processing time for them, which is a little bit weird. So we need to focus on those strategic clients as well. So I think I'm running out of time, so let's jump into the other presenter. So this is the only part. This was the part I would like to present. So Infosys, I think.
Yes, it's Infosys.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Akram.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope I'm audible. So, hi,
Yes,
this is
you're audible.
Bhavik, and I have with me Varun. Today we are representing Infosys, and we'll be delivering a demo on discovering recruitment process, leveraging Aries ecosystem. So talking about Infosys is in business for almost 40 plus years, and we have around 1700 plus clients, and the presence is around 50 plus countries. So within Infosys, we are part of digital process automation consulting unit, and we have been recognized as an undisputed leader as per the Forrester Wave, Q3 2020, where we help our clients in their digital transformation journey, specifically leveraging technologies like process mining, enterprise architecture level modeling, and different low-code, no-code approach automation tools. So today we'll be talking about very interesting process, and this process was a lot in talks and news recently due to the Great Resignation, and the process is none other than hire to retire, and we'll be focusing more on recruitment area, and the process which was executed is in SAP SuccessFactors, and we have leveraged the Aries ecosystem to come up with the solution which we would like to present today in front of you. So let's understand the problem description first. Meet Kesha. She is human resource head for one of the large IT corporation. And recently her CEO has announced that due to a lot of demand, they will be hiring 300 plus professional in coming quarters. But in the past, they have observed that the recruitment time at Kesha's organization is comparatively high as compared to the industry benchmark. So this is a matter of worry for Kesha actually, being a HR leader, since it ultimately leads to loss of revenue as they are not able to fulfill the demand on time. So they reach out to a process consultant. His name is John, and he examines the current problems at Kesha's organization carefully and recommends that they should go with the data-driven insight approach for process excellence. And by leveraging the Aries ecosystem, which has both Aries Process Mining and Aries Connect. So let's understand the process of recruitment management, how exactly it gets executed in SAP SuccessFactors. So it starts with job requisition creation, followed by requisition posted on different platforms where each individual candidate can go and apply as per their preferences. And once the candidate profile is shortlisted on certain criteria, they go through rigorous process of evaluation by screening, interviews, multiple technical rounds, and many more. Once they are selected, they are being offered to join the company. So this looks pretty simple, isn't it? But in reality, the process is quite complex. So in order to discover the process, we have identified certain fields which will help you readily process mine this recruitment management process as an out-of-box connector for SAP SuccessFactors. So let's have a look at the high-level architecture diagram of our solution. So we are using SAP SuccessFactors from where we are extracting data in the form of CSV. And as we said, we are leveraging the entire Aris ecosystem. We connected the Aris Connect and brought in our 2B model in order to have the evaluation of conformance model. So once we have the extraction, transformation, load, and the conformance data fetched from the different source and fed into Aris process mining, we can further dig deeper and understand the bottleneck and friction, where exactly the pain points are. So that's it from my side. Let's quickly have the demo. Over to you, Varun.
Yep, thanks, Mike, for the introduction. So I will share my screen. I hope it is visible to everyone. So yeah, this is the solution that we have developed, and whenever a user opens up the analysis, they will be landed on an app navigator page. This will provide them with an overview of all the dashboards that we have created within the analysis and help them navigate to various dashboards quite easily. The user can come back to the navigator page quite easily again using the bookmark that we have already created. Now let us have a quick look at the process that was identified by Aris Process Mining. Right now we have only 159 cases, and for those 159 cases, the process that we are looking at right now is following life cycle of each candidate for each job requisition. The process, as Vavik said, starts from requisition creation, then it moves on to requisition approval. Then it is posted on various portals from where we receive application of various candidates. As we move down, the process now tracks the candidate status that were set by the recruitment team. Hence, each activity that you see right now are nothing but the statuses that were set by the recruitment team in SAP SuccessFactors. As we already seen, as we increase the number of activities, we get more and more complex process, and we get the standard spaghetti diagram when we increase all the connections and the activities. Now we have already seen how out of the box available Aris process mining analysis like Process Explorer, Variant Explorer, Process Overview Conformance analysis can be utilized to analyze the process. Hence, as part of this demo, we will be only focusing on the custom sheets that we have created to help the recruitment team to identify bottlenecks within the process. So the first view that we would like to show is the overall process performance view, where we are identifying KPIs like job requisition, the number of candidates, the number of cases, average case duration of those cases, the time to hire KPI. Then we have also added two conformance related KPI, which again are automatically calculated once we configure the reference process from Aris Connect to Aris Process Mining. The user can go to the conformance tab as shown in the previous presentation to analyze the root causes of the non-conformance and the impact of the non-conformance on the overall process performance. We have also provided segregation between internal and external candidate in case the user wants to differentiate between the two and analyze the process. We are also providing the comparative view of various dimensions within the process. So we have right now selected three of them, that is the recruiter, the job role for which the hiring was done, and the month of creation of the job requisition. Now the user might want to understand which part of the process is creating a delay in the overall recruitment life cycle. To help the user to quickly identify those areas, what we have done is that we have divided the whole process into 4 different stages and help the user to understand those stages. So let us go to that view. So the 4 stages are on the top of the screen. The first stage is job requisition creation to job requisition approval. The second is job posted to application lead time. The third is from application of the candidate to the offer extended to the candidate. And the last one is between offer extended to offer accepted. We have created a similar view as we have created in the previous view, where we are providing a comparative analysis of various dimensions that are part of the process. You can see the dimensions are again the monthly creation of the job requisition and the job role for which the hiring was done. Now let us take an hypothetical example on how user can utilize our analysis to analyze the process. As we can see right now, Recruiter 2 is having quite a higher average case duration and time to fill. The user can filter down on Recruiter 2 and then see the other dimensions. As we can see, when we compare the performance of the process for the two roles, project manager is the role where the average throughput time is quite high. So once the user filter on the project manager again, we now understand that there was only one job requisition for which there were 8 candidates that were applying to the overall job. The user can again, by filtering on the internal external candidate, analyze the impact of both of them. Now, if the user moves on to the various stages that we have created, they can quickly identify which stage has an issue. As we can see here, the stage that is an issue is posted to application. The user can now also look at the process that was followed by Recruiter 2 to hire the position project manager. And we are also providing a case level detail where the user can again select each case, look at the various dimension of that case, and look at the process for each case that was followed by the recruitment team. So what we are trying to do here is we are bringing in the out-of-box capabilities of Aris process mining with our custom KPIs and dashboards to help the team identify process inefficiencies, bottlenecks, and improve their processes by the way of implementing automation, BPR, or user training. Let us see the feedback of the recruitment team based on the solution that we provided.
Thank you, Varun, for the insightful demo. So I hope you all remember Kesha. She looks pretty happy, isn't she? Because she has an X-ray kind of solution where they can evaluate their process on a daily scenarios. That's an end-to-end process where they have dashboard which is relevant to their process, and they can easily identify bottlenecks and variation within the process. Identifying waste, rework within the process becomes easy using Aris process mining, and whatever they are seeing, it's a fact-based. Nothing is gut feeling. And ultimately, it reduces their recruitment time and improve the overall experience of candidates and hiring managers. That's it from my side. Over to you, Ravi.
Thanks a lot. These were some really, really wonderful presentations. Thanks a lot, Roland. Thanks a lot, BPMD, Consulta, and Infosys. You've put in a lot of effort to save our customers time, effort, and a lot of money around this, and we have solved some really, really important use cases. So before I go ahead and take a few questions, I just would like to reiterate the fact that we about the offerings that we offer as a part of process mining. So let me just go back to the slide. So we have three processes, three offerings of our process mining software. We have the basic, which is absolutely free. Please, I would encourage all of you who are staying in this presentation as audience to go ahead and sign up for this on arisprocessmining.com and just try out our process mining software. And then we have an advanced variation where you can actually have live connectivity and really look at the data that you have in your live systems. And we have the enterprise offering for the most advanced and the most efficient use cases that you really want to look for. If you're already a process mining customer, and if you're looking to save more of your time and effort, and if you're looking for accelerators that solve your use case, here on the screen you can see all the process domains that we are solving for, and we have a lot of connection to a lot of softwares, and including our WebMethods IO offering, we have more than 250 connectors on applications where you can connect to extract your data and do the process mining. So now let me take a couple of questions that we have in the Q&A box. So Marissa has asked if Aris has been used in SAP plant maintenance module. Yes, we have the plant maintenance module also based on SAP, and yes, Aris process mining has been used. The second question is from Meher. Does Aris capture live data from leading applications? Yes, we have a way to schedule your data load into ARIS process mining, and the frequency is something that you can choose. John, unfortunately, we were not able to present our incident to resolution use case today, but together with our partner BPMD, we have also solved a use case for incident to resolution. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we will schedule something so that you will be aware of what is happening in that space. And Abhishek has asked if we like to have any use cases for telecom domain too. We currently don't have any specific use case for the telecom, but we would love to hear what are all the processes that you think are needed for you so that we can help you better. And Spenzo has asked, what is the typical implementation time for each ready-made solution at a new customer? How easy is the maintenance of these solutions? So one more quick fact about these solutions is, these solutions are really just like, importing a file into your Google Drive. It's as simple as that. So if you buy the solutions from us or from of any of the partners that we have built for you, it's just as simple as importing the file that we give you and then creating the connection, and it's as simple as that. You're ready to go into your analysis. So, and Abhishek is asking again, can process mining can have a direct connection with Google platform and fetch data? So we don't have a dedicated connector for Google especially, but we can leverage the help of our web methods IO connectors and see what we can do there. Thomas Tong, what if the organization uses a Taiwanese ERP? Does process mining connect as easily with the compared to SAP or other ERPs? So currently we have standard offerings for SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce, and other ERPs. But if you have a specific need to connect to a particular system, I would say feel free to reach out to us. We can discuss on the technical possibilities around this. So to all the attendees, thank you so much for staying until now. And in the speakers list, you will see my name, where you also have a link to my email address. I would request all of you to feel free to reach out to me if you think any of your particular use case is not yet solved by us. We'll be happy to solve. And if you want any more demos or more information about it, again, please feel free to reach out to us. Now, I would like to ask our partners if they have any closing comments. BPMD, do you have any?
Yeah, maybe just I just want to very briefly circle back to Abhishek's comments. If he is interested, we have helped to implement process mining at a telecoms organization before. Got a fantastic use case about plan to build, and happy to show them what that looks like on an ARIS environment. Very interesting. It's a UK-based one, but I could spend hours talking about it, so I won't take up all the closing time doing that. But just like to say thank you to Ravi and to Will for hosting the webinar. This is what we're talking about here. This solution accelerator is fantastic. It takes what you usually do at the early stages of process mining, which is a proof of value, which takes somewhere between 2 to 5 weeks. It squashes that down into a couple of hours. Having this pre-built solution, as Ravi said, the time to value is fantastically quick with this. And it's very much a fantastic tool for anyone who is looking to start that journey. For those of you who are UK-based or mainland European and you're interested in some of the solutions we've talked about today, please do reach out, and together with Ravi and the Software AG team, we'll put together something that looks very interesting for you.
Thanks a lot, Liam. Thanks for all the efforts from BPMD. Erkan, do you have any closing comments?
Thank you for this great webinar, this organization. It was very exciting for me to be with this audience and the partners. It's, as I mentioned, it's an endless journey. I mean, creating new applications running on APM. Regarding the question from Abhishek about telecom domain, this is something that we are currently working on, and customer acquisition is a critical process for that industry actually. So maybe we can talk in short, in a short time with them. I mean, they can contact me. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for all your efforts, Irkan, and from Infosys, Bhavik or Varun. Do you have any closing comments?
Yep. Thanks, Ravi, and all the other presenters to provide us the opportunity to be part of this webinar, and we had a great learning experience from our partners. Yep. So in case you feel you need any help in terms of implementing any process mining projects that you are planning to do, Infosys has a great repository of solutions that we have implemented for our other clients. Yep, we'll be ready to help you. So, thanks
a lot, everyone thanks a lot, everyone who has joined in today. In the speakers list, again, you will find my name with my email link. Please feel free to reach out to me if you like any of the solutions, if you would want to procure any of the solutions that we have shown today, or any of the solutions that we are showing in the list of the selected process domains that we have already solved for. Or also, please feel free to reach out to me if you want any of your processes to be solved for. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Have a great day ahead or evening.
Thank you, everyone.